Hello and welcome to Bears TV. You join us for the Redcar Rewind. Fortunately, it's a defeat for the Bears. Redcar 42, the Scunthorpe Scorpions 48. Gavin, fans need to stick with us. I'm sure they will, but not ideal start of the campaign.
No, can't really say a great deal more. I think there was a lot more effort today. I think without the injury to Charles, I think there would have been a different story. You know, when you lose your top rider, it's always going to be tough. I thought Jason today was absolutely brilliant. Connor came to the party a little bit late with 2 fantastic heat wins. But all in all, yeah, we held Scunthorpe right the way until we were still 2 up after heat 13. And then, yeah, them 2 5-1s at the end make it look, you know, as if they hammered us or whatever. But it was far from it. The effort from the riders is I can't really question. Last week I did question. This week I thought a lot of them are very close to showing the potential that they should. And yeah, we roll on to Workington tomorrow.
So, Danny King, 9 for Danny today. Not his best, but did look a lot quicker than last week.
Yeah, Danny, he had a good couple of wins to start with. He was on a new engine today. He spent a lot of money during the week to try and rectify his problems. I think it started really well. I think as a track changed, it sort of, you know, he's got to chase that little setup a little bit. But no, all in all, a better night for Danny. Still not the Danny that we want and not the Danny sort of he wants, but on the right tracks to sort of, you know, getting back to his best.
Jonas Knudsen, a good night for Jonas this evening. Jonas got 8+2, so impressive work from Mr. Knudsen.
Yeah, you know, he was making starts, but he was also passing. And he's a young lad, and he just rides with confidence, and I think his confidence grew. Just a shame he got that last race that he got absolutely beat up, didn't he, when the 3 of them went down the back straight, and he says he thought at 1 minute his life was coming to an end, so that's what it had got to. But apart from if you drop that last race out of it, I thought Jonas had a much better meeting, and I think number 2 may sort of suit him a bit more than number 4. So all in all, a very positive night from Jonas.
Number 4, my favourite number 4.
Is it?
Connor Bailey, right? So you said you said to the fans after heat 5, Connor Bailey's going to be in heat 15. They probably would have laughed at you. But then 6, but the 2 wins were quite incredible.
They were. He looked to be the fastest on track, and by a million miles as well, wasn't he? You know, he wasn't just winning those races; he won them by far, and that's why, you know, when you're on that type of roll, that heat 15, you know, it gave me a really big dilemma, because obviously Danny, Connor and Jason totally deserved it, but actually Jason himself said he just had an off race in 14, I think it was, so he wanted the other 2 to have it. So, you know, I did have a team meeting with the 3 of them, and it was decided amongst with that, you know, Connor was flying and Danny hoped he could do it, and that's why we came to that conclusion.
Yeah, the killer was really 14, wasn't it? Because as much as we know the ability Luke Harris has got, we didn't expect Luke to do what he did in that race. No,
that came out of the blue, and hats off to Luke. You know, he showed last year for us that he has got ability. He hadn't showed it during the night, and I genuinely thought it would be a 3s each at least, to be fair, and because of the way Jason had rode. So for Luke to jump out the start, fair play to him. You know, he got it together when it needed to be. But yeah, it was massively disappointing, that 5-1.
And moving on to Jason Edwards, we've just spoke about Jason for 8. Do that again. 3, 6, 7, 9, 11+2 for Jason. An impressive night.
Yeah, he's looking good, isn't he? He's looking good. We need that 3rd heat leader, I think. And I didn't know which one of them was going to do it. There's sort of Jonas, Connor and Jason, but from the first 3 matches of the season, I think it's quite clear who's going to step up to that 3rd heat leader spot in Jason. Yeah, and you know, he smiles, but he's never fully happy, so he's never content. He always wants to do better, which is also good. And as I say, he deserved heat 15, but he sort of took it on his shoulders that he'd had a bad ride in 14. His bike wasn't working as good as it had done, so he handed it to the other 2. But yeah, fantastic night for Jason.
He's going to be happy tomorrow. He's taking me to Workington.
Poor Jason.
Moving on to Charles Wright, just 3 for the skipper. Unbeaten from every race he finished.
Yeah, Charles is Charles. He's that it was just about. Last week I said we were 6 inches away from winning because he caught his footrest. He'd literally pulled off nearly a double overtake in sort of 1.5 bend, which was just absolutely brilliant. Unfortunately, he sort of hit a berm in the track, but I think he must have hit it sideways or something, which knocked his chain off and brought him to a shuddering halt. And then, he was a passenger without a bike, actually. I think he went further than the bike. And his shoulders aren't the best because of the injuries he's had. And it looks like, he's got another shoulder injury, which we don't know the extent of yet. But let's hope he's back in a few days rather than weeks. We hope anyway, keep our fingers crossed.
And the promotion actually quickly to book a certain German as a guest. Have you heard of him before?
Yeah, but I don't think it's going through now.
Oh no!
Yeah, because he's had his engine dropped and taken away after he rode for Ipswich, and the guy's already stripped it. He was hoping he hadn't started it so he could go and collect it, but his engine's in bits and he doesn't want to ride his second engine in case he lets Redcar down. So unfortunately, I think we're back to sort of square one for tomorrow. We have got a couple of feelers out, but at the moment, it looks as if we may have to run-ride a replacement.
Oh, well. Moving on, Jake Mulford, 2+1 for Jake. A slower start the season for Jake so far.
Yeah, when you've got to remember that Jake had a lot of last season out, injured. He basically is, he's had a full year off the bike. And then he went to France on Saturday, was leading his first race, his bike conked out in the front and somebody ran into the back of him, so he's carrying a little bit of a shoulder injury, and he just needs to relax a bit. I think everything's getting on top of him. He's the pressure of being the sort of senior reserve, not being on a bike for so long. I just think it sounds like excuses, but Jake will come good. We've got no worries about him. He's determined to win. He's got Stu Swales helping in the pits, who's a massive help. And he just needs to relax on a bike.
And Ben Trigger, 3 for Ben Trigger. Tailed off slightly towards the end, but at the start looked really good.
Yeah, his first 2 races were really, really pleased with him. He was fast. I think it was in Heat 2. He was right up there. Yeah, and like right behind Jack Smith, and looked as if he could have taken him once or twice. The next one he comfortably beat, I think it was Luke, he comfortably beat. So, yeah, it looked good, but then all of a sudden, he sort of went off the boil, and, I know Luke obviously came good at the end there, but yeah, there was promising signs from them first 2 races that hopefully if he can maintain that, he should be alright.
So we were joined by Jake Allen from the Scorpions, the victorious Scorpions. So we'll hear from Jake now. I'm here with the Scorpions expert, Jake Allen. Jake, big win for the side. At one stage it wasn't looking likely.
Yeah, it was a good team performance. Obviously, myself didn't have the best of nights, but, I put 2 good performances in at home over the last couple of weeks. So, I've been a bit ill this week, as you can probably hear. So, a couple of points tonight, definitely not my best night, but, it is what it is. It's about the team, not me. So I'm happy with the win.
And a special word for Luke Harrison there, Heat 14, big one, because you might have expected Michael Palmtoft to win the race, but the way Jason was going, you probably wouldn't have expected Luke to beat him, but Luke showed real quality there.
Yeah, I think tonight was just all in the starts. I don't think there was all that much passing compared to how it usually is. So I think if you're making starts tonight, that was, 9/10 of your race won. So me, I didn't make a single start all night, and it showed in my points. And, Tofty and Simon as well were making really good starts, and it was a great race by Luke in that Heat 14. He had a 5-1 with Tofty.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Jake. Good luck tomorrow at Plymouth, and I hope you feel better soon.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thanks.
Back for the second final part of Bears TV, the Redcar Rewind. I'm here with Gavin Parr again. And looking at the Scorpions now, Kyle Howarth got 5, 6, 7, 8 plus 3 for Kyle. Got better as the night went on, and then took that vital Heat 15 with Michael Palmtoft.
Yeah, I think Kyle had one of his quieter nights here, to be fair, right up to there. And then Heat 13, obviously, where he would normally come against sort of Charles and Danny. He won heat 13, I think, didn't he? And it spurred him on for 15, and he was railing it, probably where Charles would have been. But yeah, you know, he's a number one in this league for a reason. You know, he normally comes here and does very well. So yeah, the usual, actually probably be a little bit below his normal par here, to be fair.
Connor Mountain, 6 for Connor, 3 second places. So, Connor, you know what you're getting from Connor Mountain.
Yeah, you know, he's steady. He's improved every year. He's a bit, to me, I think he's a bit like Jason. He's a bit of a slow burner. He hasn't burst onto the scene and all of a sudden but he's just steadily getting better and better. And Connor, as I say, like, yeah, he did his job at number 2. If you can score 6 points at number 2, you're more than doing your job.
Simon Lambert, we all like Simon. Simon, 4, 5, 7 plus 2 for Simon. Again, another one, you just know what you're going to get.
Yeah, Simon, isn't it? He'll give you 110% effort, whether he gets 4 or 14. You know, he puts it, he wears his heart on his sleeve. And yeah, you know, another good score from Simon, which we've come to expect around here, to be fair.
14 last time, actually. So, Michael Palm Toft, a paid maximum, 14 plus 1. That's the Tofty we had here for 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, Tofty's Tofty. He loves this place. Rides it well. Rides the inside better than anybody, I would say, around here. Gets speed from the inside. I don't know if it's because he's about 3 stone soaking wet. I don't know, but he just seems to get speed here, you know. And yeah, you know, I think he's probably still trying to prove a point when he was here. But I like Tofty, and as I say, he always puts on a good show.
And Jake Allen, who we spoke to earlier, not Jake's best night. Jake suffering from a little bit of illness. Jake got 5 this evening. Yeah,
Jake was down, wasn't he, today? He was certainly sort of, you know, down on power. As I say, I think he's got a throat infection or something, hasn't he? He's not well, so get well soon, Jake. But yeah, maybe he's, you know, probably one of his poorer nights here.
He didn't specify what his illness was, and I am not a doctor. Jack Smith is the guest who was signed for the Scunthorpe Stags/Sheffield Prowlers. Jack Smith got 4 plus 1. He's done the job that he's paid to do tonight.
He won Heat 2, didn't he? You know, and that's it, yeah. You know, he came in and he did a job. Jack's been around a long time. He's rode Speedway a long time now. And he also always does brilliant at the sort of development league level. But he's never really made that step up. He had a bit of a season here where he probably averaged 4 points something, which is the best he's ever had. So he obviously likes this place. Probably came back with a little bit of a point to prove tonight, and started the meeting, as I say, with a win. But then, as I say, when we got going, he sort of tailed off a little bit. But yeah, he'll be happy with 4 points, I'm sure.
Another man will be happy. 4 plus 1, Luke Harrison, and the real killer coming in heat 14.
Yeah, but he'd had that heat before then, hadn't he? Was it heat 12 or 11 or whatever?
12.
Yeah, heat 12 when he'd got a really good second place in heat 12. I think he beat. Did he beat Triggs? He beat Triggs by a big margin, and I think it gave him the confidence all of a sudden. Whether they were chasing a setup, I don't know, but he seemed to get it right. And then in heat 14, yeah, that was an absolute killer blow. He made a super start, and Jason tried every which way to get around him, but it didn't work. And yeah, fully deserved. A bit like Connor, started off with two duck eggs, and then got going towards the end.
Yeah, so if Jason would have actually got past, it would have been a Super 8, wouldn't it? Because it would have been 4. There would have been 4 down or 2 down. No, there would have been 4. Oh no, we were 2 down, so it would have been level. Yeah. So not even that. So Sport said to me, Ryan was just not strong enough in terms of the side. What would you say to that comment?
At the moment, I think he's probably right. But when you think we're all built to the same average, what I'm missing, what the team's missing, is somebody to grab a hold of that third heat leader spot. And obviously tonight, I think we would have been strong enough, because I think Jason showed that if you've got a third heat leader, you're going to win. And I think, like, no disrespect to Scunthorpe, they were good, but I think if Charles had, you know, done as usual and won 3 races, maybe he's in second in 2, that would have been enough. It's no excuse, and it's not taking it away from Scunthorpe's win. They deserved it on the night, but I agree with that supporter, you know. But I just think we've got 3 riders there: Connor, Jason, and Jonas. If the 3 of them, you know, click like they're showing signs of, I think we are strong enough.
Well, thank you for joining me, Gavin, and thank you for joining us on the Redcar Rewind. We're off to Workington today when this goes out, so we're off to the GT Tyres Arena for the Bears, looking to bounce back against the Comets, but today it was defeat for the Bears against the Scorpions. Next week, we got the Comets back at the ECCO Arena, looking for revenge, this time in the Knockout Cup. So thank you for joining us, and good night.